Hey everybody, how would you like to age in reverse? This may sound impossible, but the technique I'm talking about today has the acclaim of doing just that. It's very easy and it delivers a lot of health benefits. But to be clear, we're not talking about aging backwards through puberty to childhood. We're talking about lowering the apparent age of cells and tissues relative to where you are right now. In other words, you may be 60 years old but demonstrate the cellular health of an 80-year-old, or you may be 36 and demonstrate the cellular age of an average 25-year-old. And these are things we can measure like telomere length of chromosomes and other epigenetic factors. As a doctor, I'm always looking for a high value to effort ratio. I like to recommend things that deliver more impact than the effort you have to put in, because if something takes too much time or effort or skill, you're less likely to follow through. So I'm going to present something today that fits this description perfectly. You can see results immediately, start small and grow into it, and even after the first 5-minute session, you'll likely feel better and more activated. People notice all sorts of changes: longer lasting energy throughout the day, better sleep, balanced hormones, improved digestion and elimination, even less joint and body inflammation. This is a practice that can enhance all your systems and all the other things you're doing for your health, even tough workouts or intense yoga routines. It's a perfect warm-up for a 10-mile hike in the mountains, and I personally even do it before a meditation. We're talking about the Tibetan Rites. The Rites are a combination of 5 easy movement exercises that are believed to come from the practices of Himalayan Buddhist monks as far back as 2,500 years ago. They help to balance the energy centers, which are traditionally called chakras, and stimulate the nervous system through movement, especially the joints in the spine. I've added 2 extra exercises at the end because the Rites mostly move the spine through flexion and extension, which is this forward and back motion. But the spine is healthiest when it's challenged in all 3 planes of motion, to include also lateral bending, like this, and also rotation. So I'm going to demonstrate the 5 rites and go through them one by one. They should be done in the order shown here, up to 21 reps each. Do as much as you can, even if it's just a few, and you can always increase later. Doing more than 21 reps isn't necessarily helpful, but you can do a second session later in the day. If you've lost range of motion or muscle tone over the years, or if you've had joint surgeries or other orthopedic problems, you can probably still do these. Just try to find modifications if necessary. Let it do some work on your body, and then perfect the motions over time. Just remember, it's more about the journey, not the destination. Rite number 1, clockwise spin. This is said to speed up and harmonize the main energetic centers of the body, what are traditionally called chakras, and get them turning in the correct direction together to maximize energy and health. Stand with arms outstretched and palms down, looking at one spot on the wall. Begin turning to the right in a clockwise direction as if you were looking down on your head from above. Turn at a moderate speed and try to find the same spot on the wall each time you rotate. If you suffer from chronic dizziness, this one may be a little challenging. If you get too dizzy, stop or slow down until you regain your balance and then continue. Rite number 2. Lay down on the floor with your palms down and hands tucked slightly under your glutes for stability. While taking a breath in, lift your legs together with your head as straight up in the air as possible. Pause for a brief moment and then exhale and let them back down. You might feel tempted to breathe out instead of in when raising your legs, because this makes the most mechanical sense and it's easier. But every source I've found says to breathe in while lifting and out while relaxing down. By doing it this way, you're increasing pressure inside the torso and putting a deeper stretch into the back muscles and between the ribs. This can also slow the heart rate by stimulating the vagus nerve, and it's said to help treat arrhythmias. That said, this is not a medical recommendation or a treatment for any condition, and certain people should avoid bearing down hard with a lot of pressure if they have retinopathy or implanted intraocular lenses, or with certain heart conditions. Rite number 3, Kneeling upright with your hands on the back of your legs, you can curl your toes under or leave them flat on the floor depending on your flexibility. Having them curled under may give you a little more stability and can stretch the plantar muscles in your feet, but you will develop that balance as you practice. Take a deep breath in while arching your back, pushing your stomach forward and looking up. When you get to the end of your back bend range of motion, breathe out and bend forward, going past your starting point. Come back up and repeat, going back and forth with the breath in and out as demonstrated. Rite number 4. Sit on the floor with legs together, outstretched, and with palms on the floor just a little in front of your hip joints by the side of your legs. Raise your pelvis off the floor while taking a deep breath in. Raise your midsection as high as you can with knees bent at a 90-degree angle. Feet flat on the floor, letting your head relax back to fully extend at the end of the breath in. At the end of the movement, your torso and hips should be in a straight line in a tabletop position. Your arms should be fully extended underneath and behind you, and elbows unlocked, but straight as possible. Then you can relax back down, breathing out and coming to a brief rest before repeating. Rite number 5. Start in a plank position with hands and feet on the floor. Taking a breath in, raise your head and lower your body, pushing your pelvis toward the floor with back arched into an up dog position. Reverse this into a down dog position with a breath out to complete one cycle. Try to get your heels close to or on the floor while keeping the back straight and head even between your arms. If you can't flex or extend all parts of your spine and neck fully, take it easy on yourself and do what you can. The lateral bending is done by lowering your right shoulder and raising your right hip, approximating them as much as you can on a breath out, then flipping the motion over, pausing in the middle long enough to catch a small breath, then lowering your left shoulder and raising your left hip on another breath out. Essentially, you're putting a C curve into the spine each time you go back and forth. The rotation is best done going to the end of your range of motion with arms elevated up in front of you and looking left and right over your shoulders, focusing on rotating your entire spine from the top of the neck all the way to the low back. Try not to whip around too fast, but be deliberate about the rotation. If you want to couple breathing with the motion, take a breath out while going to the right or left and pause briefly in the middle to take a breath in. If you're still watching this, I really hope you'll give it a shot and be consistent with it for at least 60 days. The body doesn't change overnight. In terms of musculoskeletal problems, you may have bone spurs, joint range of motion limitations, or shortened muscles. You may be able to actually resorb some of that calcification and restore normal movement with regular practice. Just be careful, don't push through pain, but realize even the fittest people might be sore from doing this. If there's sluggish organ function, you might be very surprised with what changes for you even in the short term. If you decide to accept the challenge, let me know how it goes, or if you have questions, and I wish you good luck. You won't regret it.